are you doing? Today we have a very special day because we're not only testing the performance of our R8 V10 Performance Spider in a 100 to 200 run, but I also want to compare those two boxes that I have up there. Because you probably know that we have been measuring with the Racelogic Driftbox, this is the one on the left there, for quite some time, and we also want to compare how accurate the numbers are, comparing it to the new RaceBox Pro that they just revealed, and see if we can actually switch onto this new RaceBox Pro into the future. Because for obvious reasons, first of all, that one has a lot clearer device. You can easily see the numbers that you have did and also the comparison to the previous time. And on the other hand, also that device shows you directly the slope that you have been doing in your acceleration run. It doesn't have a big effect on our runs because we usually have very, very flat pieces of Autobahn, but nevertheless, I think that is a good indicator to compare how good the times really are. Having that said, we have to say that nothing of this is a paid promotion. We have bought that Racelogic Driftbox, I don't know, 3 years back in time on our own, from our own money, and I've also purchased this new RaceBox Pro from my own money. So this is just a real test in the real life. We don't have to say that this is a great box because we had a paid promotion. We're just testing it, and I just want to see if we can really switch to the new box. I would love to do it, but we want to compare, of course, how accurate the measurements are in the end. First of all, and what I can say is, if I have the speed limiter locked to 85, and we're just passing this bridge now, so I have to wait. But we can first of all compare how accurate those, let's say, GPS times are on that if we're driving straight. So the new Driftbox shows, or the RaceBox Pro shows 83.1.2, and the old one shows 83.3.2. So that is more or less exactly the same. I would say that this one is a bit more conservative, so maybe shows 0.1 of kilometer less compared to the other box, but I think that is, let's say, very, very minor. But it also seems a very, very interesting comment that the new box finds the GPS signal a lot quicker, and every time that I, for example, go into a tunnel or into a bridge, the old one loses the GPS signal a lot quicker. So I think that is an advantage already for the new box, and something that of course helps us a lot if we have more accurate GPS signal and easier find of the GPS signal. Another thing that I want to tell also, of course, that both devices can be mounted with an external GPS antenna that you have a cable with, and then you put it onto the roof of your car, for example. This is usually not very practical for our tests, so this is a real-life test just using the internal GPS signal and not using that external antenna. So let's do the first slide acceleration test from 100 to 200 and see how the numbers compare. Just seen that this acceleration was of course not full throttle. We have an 8.6 seconds 100 to 200 on the new device, and we have an 8.6 seconds same number on the old device as well. So that first test on of course probably ideal condition shows the same time. We now of course want to do a run which is a bit quicker. On the new device we have a 9.99 0 to 200. Let's compare that. We have a 10.2 seconds 0 to 200. So the Racelogic device, the old one, seems to be a bit more conservative. We have 2/10 off. The next number that we see is a 0 to 100 of 3.7 seconds 6.9 on this device, and we have a 4.0 here on that device. So I don't know if I have the same settings with this one field roll off. It is a one field roll off on that device, and it's maybe off on that device. I have to compare it, but nevertheless, once we look at the number 100 to 200, I have a 6.2 here and I have a 6.29 here. So next run 100 to 200 now with the windows down, that you hear some more sound. Just deleted that time because I went into the menu again, but it just showed me a 6.8 seconds, and it also shows a 6.8 seconds 100 to 200 again onto that Driftbox. So I think that is pretty identical. So let's try to do another run from the standstill, maybe a slight one, to see if there's really a difference. Again, we have yet again a 6.74 on the new box, and we have a 6.7 on the old box. So I think that is very, very reliable now, that we, even under different conditions and in different angles and different directions, we have the same number 100 to 200. And the only thing that we have observed now is that it makes a difference if you have 1 feet roll-off turned on, like on that box, and it's likely turned off on that box. I have to check it once I'm at the standstill, and then we can really compare the numbers, and I probably want to change that setting as well to meet the settings also of the box that we have been previously using, so in order to really be able to compare the numbers that we're getting out. So something that we just talked about is now clear. We have seen that this is, let's say, the setting that we have for the new one, so it's foot roll out. I think this is the same, like 1 feet rollout is on, and I just saw that we always had the settings with 1 foot rollout not enabled on the other box. So that one, the old one, was disabled, 1 foot rollout, and we just drove with the new one with enabled. I don't know what the settings are that the other ones are testing with. It seems to be tested always with the 1 foot rollout turned off. So I think this is the more conservative setting. So the smallest movement will already bring the calculation of the device to counting, whereas here, let's say you need a bit of more movement, it seems, in order that this device starts counting. I know that JP Performance from Germany, Carwow, for example, are testing with this device right now, and I don't know if they're having 1 feet rollout on or off, but we should maybe test that as well and discuss that as well, so we have really comparable numbers, besides the fact, of course, that Carwow is not testing 0 to 100 but 0 to 60 times, which are always different. But nevertheless, thank you for tuning in, thank you, let's say, for joining this discussion. Maybe write me your comments what you think, but I think it's a very good idea to change onto that new box because it's easier to read. It shows you the slope. By the way, the slope that we had was maximum 0.4%, so there's almost no slope here, and the correction of the number would result in more or less the same number that you have. And yeah, write me your comments. If you say yeah, you're good to go into the new box, or stick with the old one. I think my personal decision is already done, but of course it's also up to you guys what you think, and I'm very interested in your comments.